ricordi belli e anche tristi sono tantissimi.
The first thing that you have to move your motorbike is the passion. It's not important where you have to go, but it's the passion. The passion was a million of times bigger than my sensation and my nerves. The most adventure trip I did when I was young. When you are young, you don't think about if a trip can be dangerous or not. You start because you are alone, you are not to think about nothing when you come back. Travel is also a personal moment in your life. If you have a bike, you have only to put down the first gear and all the other are up, and you have to go. For sure, you can travel in many supports, motorbikes, car, van. Every of these kind of travel are good. For me, there is only one kind of travel. And this kind of travel is to travel with the motorbikes. Why? Because the motorbikes give you the chance to live the travel at 100%. Because with the motorbikes, you can feel the cold, you can feel the sand in your face, the sun. The rate. So there is 100% of the travel that can make you sensation. Because this is a part of the travel for me. It's not only to take a bike and go. I never had the passion of the motorbikes. I always have the passion of the travel with the motorbikes. The motorbikes were the condition to have a travel for me. If it was not possible to go in somewhere with my motorbikes, for me, it was not good to go in that place. For me, it was very important to start from my garage and go where I wanted to go. For me to travel, you have only to have an idea. When you have an idea, all the rest is easy. In my family, nobody believed in my passion because my passion for them was a concern. But I had in my family only one that pushed me and helped me to have the first bike. And she was my grandmother. Because I was very young, I bought my first bike. I remember it was a Suzuki 600. She gave me the chance to put this motorbike in her garage, so without the hands of my family. And when I wanted to try and to go and to start for some days, I go to pick the bikes in her garages, and I start. Only one day, when of course she had to change a refrigerator because it becomes old. My dad got to the garage to make the change and see the motorbikes and asked to my grandmother with these motorbikes. And my grandmother told, okay, is the motorbikes of Ciocio. And from that time, my family knows that they have motorbikes, and anyway, was more easy to explain that my passion, and they let me go. With, of course, every time that I was ready to start, my family was very, very, very concerned. But anyway. The first time that I make my first travel with the motorbikes, is incredible, but the first travel was Tunisian, where we are now. And of course I was nervous because my motorbike was old, was not young. So maybe I was thinking about what could happen during the trip, if I have some problem with the motorbikes, something like that. But of course the passion was a million of times bigger than my sensation and my nerves. I remember very well that the boat left from Genova at 3 o'clock in the noon, and my house is 1 hour and a half from Genova, and at 5 o'clock in the morning I left from house. Was still dark because I really wanted to arrive to the port to start. So that was I understood from this day and from that day that my passion was crazy for to travel. Because I remember when I left in Australia, I always have in my mind to arrive to the highest rock. And when I was there, because the road was dirty, it was not easy to drive, I have to think now I have to come back. So I have a little bit not in a good situation to leave what I have in front of me. So now is different, because now you have everything with you. If you have a problem, you pick up the phone and you call somebody. I'm staying in Mongolia for 3 weeks. I never met nobody, only camel. So it was not easy. I remember when I left from Mongolia, my motorbikes had 100,000 kilometers. I'm stuck with the motorbike with 100,000 kilometers. Now you can start with the last model. I can start with the last model of the motorbike, but only in that case the passion was at 100%. So now is incredible, but the best material, the best motorbike take out 50% of the passion to go with the motorbikes, because you have the chance to tell to everybody in the social media where you will go, in which way you will go before to go. So that is for me the big mistake to start a trip with the motorbikes. I wrote my first book in 2002, and this is the first book. And now I take a look at these pictures in Bolivia, and it was very young. Anyway, why I wrote the first book? Because in 2002, there was no chance to tell to somebody that was interested to know about the trip, because there was not internet, there was not email, or of course there was, but not like this. The technology was very, very behind us, and inside there was the first 3 or 4 big trip that I did. So in most of them in Asia, because when I start to travel, I'm focused my mind for Asia, and then I start to travel South America and Africa, and for this I wrote the other books. As I told you before, I told you that Tunisian for me has been not only the first trip that I did with my motorbikes, but when you mention Tunisian, for me is more than this, because I'm start to travel in Tunisian. I find my wife in Tunisian, and she gave me my daughters. That for sure is the best travel that I make in my life. So I've been lucky again, because my daughter is very nice as her mother, but she's like me inside. She loves too much to travel. She started to come with me when she was very, very young, 4 or 5 years. She started to come with me in the desert with client, and so she has the same passion that I have. For sure, I really hope that she's not her job, because I would like to have for her another job, and but for sure I'm happy because she has the passion for travel.
اسمي أزياء، أنا بنت ماسيمو كمال كيف ما عرفتوا من تشوتشو، والهواية متاعي هو الفواياج، يعجبني برشا، ومادام بقيت الخدمة هذيك ديما نستغل الفرصة باش نمشي معاها. أول فواياج عملته وقتها كان عمري 4 سنين، مشيت لتونس في الجزائر وكل، منفكرش بالكدا، أما نفكر وقتها مشيت خاطر كأول مرة pour connaître la Tunisie وكل. من بعد بشوية بديت كل مرة نمشي، حتى التونسية عملتها أكثر من 3 مرات، أما ديما نمشي خاطر يوم شهرت جدد، خاطر بالوقت كل شيء يتبدل. en fait كخدمة الحقيقة تعجبني برشا، أما كان لازمني نختار ما نعملهاش كخدمة، خاطر مادامني عندي الفرصة نتاع لي لونغ اللي نحكيهم برشا، نختار أكثر الكارير دبلوماتيك، أما كمان كهواية معناتها pour passer le temps نختار معناتها لي فواياج ونتو مجدولين وكل.
I'm been very happy because I'm grown too much in my mind. I understood in which way you have to see the world. For sure, I understood that there is no difference in colors, in religion, in cultures, in tradition. So only there is no school that can explain in the right way that there is no difference in the world, but only the travel. So I would like to thank you for your times, and Barakallahu Fik. I don't know if it's true, but even that Barakallahu Fik.